demonstration of the basic swing groove and its components and starting a beginning drummer from the basics. So we want to start with learning about the rebound on the stick, because we want to have a really relaxed rebound so that the stick, when we exert effort on the downstroke, is just going to bounce right back up, and it's going to look a little bit like this. You can't be afraid to let the stick come all the way back up, and you should be really, really loose. If you drop your drumstick, it's okay. Don't hit yourself, but it's fine to be that loose that you could potentially lose your drumstick. Once you've mastered one rebound, you want to do a perpetual motion drill, and this should feel like dribbling a basketball. It should feel pretty effortless. Should sound like that. And once you've mastered that, we can start talking about equal subdivisions and the subdivisions of the beat. So in order to have consistent downstrokes, you need to have consistent upstrokes, which means that each upstroke in a straight groove would occur on the end of the beat. So if I stick my drumstick above my right hand, you can hear that the upstroke occurs on the and it's consistent. You can hear that each upstroke occurs on the and when it hits my left hand drumstick. And so obviously that is great for a straight groove, but when we're playing swing, we're dividing into triplets. So we can't do our upstroke on the end of the beat because then we won't have consistent down and upstrokes. So we have to do our upstroke on the third partial of the triplet. We hit on the first partial, we catch our drumstick on the second, and then we do our upstroke on the third partial. So it's going to sound kind of like this. Bo-le, 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 bo-le. So I'm catching my drumstick and just letting it rest on the second partial and bringing it up on the third. And so a good way to practice this is to set the metronome on quarter note equals 40 and do this on your drum set and practice. And once we've mastered that, we can start going into the different aspects of our swing groove. One of the most important aspects is your ride cymbal rhythm, and it's imperative to have good time. So we want to start out with just playing quarter notes and really setting the groove with quarter notes on the ride cymbal, and so it's going to sound like this. And once we've really set the groove using quarter notes, we can move to what's called a spang-spang-a-lang rhythm, and it's going to sound like this. And as we're mastering that, we can work separately on the hi-hat, which is going to be on 2 and 4. And so it's going to sound like this. And then once we've mastered both of those separately, we can start putting them together. We should completely eliminate the use of the bass drum for complete beginners and add that in later. So it's going to sound like this with quarter notes on the ride and 2 and 4 on the hi-hat. Going to sound like that. And now I'm going to do it with the spang-spang-a-lang rhythm on the ride cymbal and 2 and 4 on the hi-hat. once we've mastered both of those two together and can really groove, it's important to then start adding in the bass drum. And what we want to do with the bass drum is feather it. So we're going to play it on all 4 beats, but we're going to play it lightly so that it's more felt rather than heard. And it's going to sound like this. And so now, doing all of those components together, I'm going to start with quarter notes on the ride and move to the spang spang a lang rhythm, and you're going to see what all of those sound like.